Hey everyone, and welcome to the latest Eagle Eye podcast presented by Nissan with Reuben Frank. I'm Dave Zangaro. I put together a list of season end awards for the Eagles. And these are typical awards that the league gives out, but I did them for the Eagles, and I want to get your take on a few of them. So for each award, I name the winner and also a runner-up. You want to guess? You want to play it that way?
I don't like guessing.
Okay. Mr. Fun over there. All right. MVP. For me, it was Jason Kelsey.
I hate that though. Like you're in a bar and a guy comes up and says, "Hey, guess what just happened in the Steelers game?" Like, I don't want to go. Oh, well, let me see. Roethlisberger got hurt. I don't want to guess. Just tell me. If it's that important, just tell me. I hate when somebody comes up, "Hey, guess this." Just tell me. Anyway, what do you got?
Yeah. This is going to be more fun.
Okay.
Kelsey, I have as the MVP. It was a tricky one to figure out, but I looked at this team and I thought, when were they at their best? And they were at their best when they were leaning on the offensive line. And he was their best offensive lineman. He was the only guy to play every game. To me, it had to be him.
And plus, there's really no one else either. Slay made the Pro Bowl and had a really good year, but he wasn't their MVP. I mean, it has to be Kelsey. I don't.
Yeah. My runner-up was Jalen Hurts. And he had obviously his ups and downs, but overall, the offense was, especially early in the year, was all him, and he had a big role in it. He's the quarterback, obviously, so that is a natural position to name MVP. But I gave it to Kelsey over him.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I mean, we kind of remember what happened most recently, but for much of the year, he was putting up 30 points a game and making enough plays to win games. So yeah, I'll go along with that.
Yeah. Okay. My offensive player of the year is Dallas Goedert. And we saw what he did after Ertz got traded. He was a true number one. And then you add in what he does as a blocker. I mean, no brainer to me. And it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing when the league does it because the MVP is not going to be your offensive player of the year. You're going to make it different. So, but I like the pick of Goedert. I still think he's an ascending player.
Oh, I do too. And he had a big postseason game. I mean, he had 90 some odd yards in the. Yeah. I mean, he was one of the few guys who you looked at and said that guy earned his keep in the Tampa game. I think he's going to have 1,000-yard season next year. I really do. If you look at what he did after the Ertz trade, he was like the number 4 tight end in the league behind Andrews, Kelsey, and Kittle. I mean, that's the company he was in over the last 11 weeks of the season. So I can't argue with that. Who's your runner-up there?
My runner-up was Lane Johnson, who played at a really high level. He's the only other guy on the offense that you can make a claim for that spot, I think. Once you take out – if Kelsey's out and Hurts is out because they were in the MVP conversation, then you're looking at offensive players. None of the running backs played enough.
Could you just pick the running backs as a ticket?
Yeah, I'm not making mega people here. You're one person.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I thought Lane played at a really high level. Defensive player of the year, to me, was a pretty easy one. For a while, it was close, but Darius Slay just he was better than everyone else. He was very good this year, so he wins it. But Javon Hargrave is the runner-up.
Yeah, those are both fair. I think the way Sweat played the last 6 weeks or so, he was coming on. I think if he had if that run had started a little earlier, I think I might have put him ahead of. It's funny because Hargrave had a great first half and Sweat had a really good second half. But I think all things considered, Javon Hargrave did more for this team than Josh Sweat. So I would agree with that. It's interesting. This just you know what? I'm not even going to get into it right now. It's something we can talk about next week. But I would agree with those picks.
Okay. That's what a tease that was.
I know. We'll get to it.
My comeback player.
It has to do with the secondary, and this was the oldest secondary in Eagles history. This is the first time they ever had 4 starters who were 28 or older at the same time. They're like their main starters. So I think it's something we can talk about, just age of the secondary and how important it is to work on that. But anyway, yeah.
Okay. My comeback player of the year, Jake Elliott. I mean, if he didn't have a contract, Rube, he's probably not even here.
Yeah.
That's how bad he was in 2020.
Yeah.
That contract saved him. He was my runner-up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because he had a worse season than Jake Elliott did, and Jake Elliott was pretty bad. And I think it's easier for kickers. You fix one little thing, and now you're a good kicker. But Jordan Howard, he had to get a job. Like he was on the practice squad the first 8 weeks of the season. So, he had a kind of a short, period where he was healthy, but during that stretch, he was during that stretch, he was one of the best running backs in the league. In the league. So, yeah, those are both good ones. Yeah, I would probably go Howard first and then Jake Elliott, just because kickers, whatever.
Poor kickers. My special teams player of the year.
And I think Slay, honestly, I don't think he was bad last year, but I think he showed, I would say comeback as he were pretty bad last year. He wasn't, but did improve a lot.
He improved a lot, but it wasn't as big a jump as those other two.
Agree.
Yeah. Special teams player of the year, Sean Bradley. It was a shame he got kind of banged up later in the year in that car accident. And then he got, I don't know if the shoulder was, it seemed like you could follow that trail that it was like related. But he played really well, and he alternate for the Pro Bowl team. You give him credit because he found his little area there on special teams where he's really good.
Yeah, he is. I'd probably agree with that. The first half of the season, I might have said Andre Sachere, but he kind of got phased out by the end of the year. I'm not sure why. Kind of a weird deal.
Yeah, and Zach McPherson was my runner-up. The rookie played more special team snaps than anyone. He was their lead block, their top gunner, especially in the playoff game. He was it once Sachere was down. So he made a big impact this year on special teams.
My runner-up might have been Rager, just for his return ability.
That 39-yarder.
Josiah Scott would be in there.
Yeah, he came on strong at the end, but
he was really active. I thought I liked watching him.
He has the best nickname on the team.
I don't know his nickname.
The Gnat.
Okay,
it's a good nickname for a nickel corner.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, I would agree with Sean Bradley certainly. Score big with the AAA Eagles MVP membership, along with the superb roadside assistance and discounts you've come to expect from AAA. Get exclusive Eagles-related perks. For all the details, visit AAA.com/Eagles. Nissan just made your choice for a new car an easier one than ever with their most exciting and fuel-efficient lineup. The choice is yours, and get great offers across Nissan's full line. Shop your local Nissan store today at nissanusa.com.
Rookie of the year. It was not easy. I went with the most obvious one.
And that's a good sign. That's
it could be a bad sign too. But in this case, it was a good sign. I went with Devontae Smith because he was the top receiver. He did it all year. He set the rookie record. I didn't want to get too cute. He deserves it. But Landon Dickerson is a very close runner-up.
I literally might have taken Dickerson. I just think he met so much of the offense. No slight against Devontae. I thought, you ask yourself, who's if you ranked every receiver and every guard in the league, I think Dickerson would probably right now be higher than Devontae. It doesn't mean I think Devontae is going to be a really, really good player. He already is, but I think Dickerson's a Pro Bowler next year at left guard. And I'm not sure I feel that way about Devontae quite yet. He might very well get there. And a lot of it has to do with the quarterback play. And, if you're only getting 3 or 4 targets a game, it's tough, to have a 1,300-yard season. But I think I would go with Dickerson. I think what he did once he moved to left guard, it was really impressive. And, the big question about him was, could he stay healthy? Really turned out to be a great draft pick in the second round to get a guy like him. And I'll tell you what, Gainwell, he won't make, obviously Devontae is going to be the runner-up, but Gainwell really did for a 5th-round pick. He would be 3rd on that list. But and Milton Williams
over Milton?
Milton Williams,
either way, this is a fun conversation to have.
Yeah,
because there were years where we'd be arguing because we're like, no, he did less.
Yeah. Milton Williams and Kenny Gainwell probably. they're to me they're both about the same. They're both really, really impressive middle round guys who are going to just get better. Um, I mean, Milton had to play more because they were just. I mean, they had so many running backs. That's impressive that Kenny Gainwell did what he did. He had like 600 scrimmage yards. It was really the fourth running back, so he didn't get a lot of chances. So that was impressive. But yeah, it's a really good group of rookies. And, you mentioned Zach McPherson, Jack Stoll, who was undrafted and played a lot. He was playing like 30 snaps a game at tight end as a blocker. It's a really impressive group of rookies.
I was looking up Gainwell stats earlier today. And you probably know this one, but I wanted to share it. So he had over 500 scrimmage yards and 6 touchdowns. I was looking at the list of names of players in recent years who have done that. It's an impressive list for fifth round or later. Elijah Mitchell did it this year for San Francisco, but before that, Darius Slayton, Tyreek Hill, Jordan Howard, Carlos Williams, Zach Stacy, Alfred Morris. So some of those guys have had sustained success in the league.
Yeah, I thought it was funny that Jordan. I actually put that list in my 10 observations a week or two ago, and it's funny seeing Jordan Howard on that list with the Bears in 2016. Had
His
such
best
a great,
year.
Yeah, had such a great rookie year. I'm really curious to see how how Kenny Gainwell is used next year because I mean, there's something to be said for a guy that finds the end zone, and he does that. And Boston Scott too. I mean, Boston Scott had 7 touchdowns and like 114 touches or something, which is crazy. And yeah, that's a fun thing to watch. All these guys are going to be fun to watch because they're all going to get better.
Yeah,
but
I have a few more.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, did you have something else?
No, I was just going to say, I think I would go. I'm just reiterating. I go Dickerson, Devontae, and then Gainwell and Milton Williams tied for third. So I'm going 4 deep there.
You're just making up your rules as you go.
I'm a podcast, damn it. Sorry.
Assistant coach of the year, it's pretty obvious it's Jeff Stoutland. And we've talked about him so much this year. But the runner-up, I went with Jason Michael, the tight ends coach. I don't think we talked about him enough this year. We saw Dallas Goedert improve pretty greatly this year. And then you had Jack Stoll come in as an undrafted rookie, play a lot of snaps, really helped him as a blocker. And then Tyree Jackson was a functional player who had never played tight end.
Yeah, that's he's impressive, and the players really speak highly of him. I would agree with that. And we talked about this not that long ago. I mean, he was really involved. He comes in as a new coach. Zach Ertz has no idea who this guy is, and he helped talk Zach Ertz into reporting, into wanting to be an Eagle to start the season, which was important. Yeah, J. Mike, that's a good one. I like that.
All right, I only have a couple more here. The pleasant surprise of the year for me was T.J. Edwards, and it's not that I'm surprised he did it. I'm surprised he got a chance to do it. Really. They came into this year and he was an afterthought, and he ends up really changing the entire defense. So I gave him that award. And my runner-up is Quez Watkins. So those are two pretty good ones. Would you flip them though? Because I went back and forth.
Yeah, interesting. I probably would to get 600 some odd receiving yards out of a 6th-round pick who didn't even play most of the last year. I think that's, and I would put Gainwell in there too to get what you got to get 7 touchdowns out of a rookie 5th-round pick. And I don't mean to obsess on Kenny Gainwell here, but I like the TJ Edwards pick. And he's really made himself, and I still think they need to dramatically upgrade that linebacking core, but he's really made himself into a solid player. I mean, there'll be a role for him, even if it's just in some sub packages. He can play. So, yeah, sometimes with these undrafted guys, they just keep getting better. Quez is interesting. It's so rare to have a 6th-round pick produce like that. But you still feel like he could have done more. He had some drops. There's some games where he wasn't really a factor. There's some games he wasn't targeted much. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I still think he'll be a really good 3 if you can bring in a 2. But I would probably go Quez number 1.
Yeah, I like that you got Kenny Gainwell as your second runner up for assistant coach of the year too.
I do.
Got him, got him
Yeah,
everywhere. And then the flip side of the pleasant surprise, the biggest disappointment. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but it's Jalen Rager, and the runner up there was actually Eric Wilson, who a lot of people forgot was even on this team, but he was a starter at the beginning of the year, and he got cut halfway through the year. So, I mean, pretty disappointing.
I'd have to put Rager and Derek Barnett. I just think when you have a guy drafted in the first half of the first round and gets 2 sacks in a contract year, I mean, that's really bad. So, with all due respect to Eric Wilson, I go Rager and Barnett.
I get that, but I kind of wonder what the expectations were for Barnett. I mean, they certainly weren't as high as
Well,
previously in his career.
he did have 6.5 sacks last year. You would hope he could at least be okay. I mean,
Yeah,
and just be a factor. He just disappeared for long stretches of the season. So um, it's bad when 2 first round picks a few years apart are your most disappointing, but that's where I'm going. I never had huge expectations for Eric Wilson, although I mean you didn't expect this to happen, certainly. Yeah.
yeah, he was so bad. I mean, I didn't expect him to get cut halfway through the year.
Yeah, it was like the Zach Brown deal right there.
A little bit. I mean, I had higher expectations for him than I did Zach Brown at the time.
Yeah, true. I would agree with that.
All
Hey, is
right,
that
those
it?
are the awards.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I agree with most of them.